they going to arrest him already? The grand jury was out today. No indictment was handed down against Donald Trump. They decided to push the hearing to tomorrow to give Trump supporters time to iron their Confederate flags. Trump claimed he put on Truth Social that he was going to get arrested yesterday. Some of the experts are saying it might not happen until next week. Now, I'll tell you something. If this happens on Saturday, and you were with me on this, Guillermo, so help me God, I will run into the studio and do a monologue in my bathroom. I don't care if there's anyone here. I'll just be alone with no lights on talking to this not working camera. According to the New York Times, Donald Corleone is looking at this possible arrest as a fun experience. He's been telling people he's excited about the idea of getting paraded in front of cameras, like it's the red carpet at some kind of Guilty People's Choice Awards or something. He's also saying he specifically wants to get handcuffed behind his back, which weirdly this is the same request he had for Stormy Daniels when he got into this mess. Why he would make a spectacle out of being arrested, I don't know. He's been even asking friends if he should smile when he gets arrested. He's been asking friends if he should smile. Melania's been debating whether she should play Party in the USA or Celebration by Kool and the Gang. They're putting a lot of thought into this. Trump's even putting thought into his perp walk. He is planning this out like it's a reality show or something. He's trying to decide on which of his many walks he will go with it. Will it be, for instance, will it be the toilet paper drag? Will he go with the wet wife walk? Will he maybe do something royal and go with Block the Queen? Perhaps something international, like the Get Ahead of State? Of course, we all know the big baby elephant walk if there's a ramp in the area. And this one is called the Disheveled Wedding Guest. Here we have one from the debate, the menacing Hillary prowl. And then the weather is inclement. We've got, watch this. You take care of that, yeah. Or maybe the YMCA, we don't know. I vote for that one. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see Trump doing this, and this on the way in the court. One associate said Trump wants to show the world that if they can do this to him, they can do it to anyone. Which, yeah. It's called having laws. I mean, if I rob a bank, they could also arrest a bank robber. It's not necessarily related. You know, the bad news for Trump is he seems to be out of competent lawyers. He seems to be getting his lawyers off billboards now. When he's in trouble, he dials 2222222. His former attorney, Michael Cohen, is now the key witness against him in the Stormy Daniels case. And the guy who's representing him in that case is a big salami sandwich with olives named Joe Tacopina, who may now have to recuse himself because back in 2018, he was approached to represent, of all people, Stormy Daniels, which is a bigly conflict of interest. And it's also a lot of fun to watch Joe from 2018 butting heads with Joe from 2023.
No crime was committed here, that there was no campaign law violation at all. If that is what happened, we have a potential campaign finance issue. He did everything the right way. He did nothing wrong, as he has said repeatedly. It doesn't pass the straight face test. I don't know since when we've decided to start prosecuting extortion victims. Once the microscope is on you, everything is fair game.
Well, first of all, he took out the loan, Michael Cohen. That's normal. Most lawyers take out loans to pay off settlements for clients.
That doesn't make sense, that a lawyer took out a home equity loan with his own money, paid somebody that he didn't even know.
There's no crime here. There is absolutely no crime.
It's an illegal agreement, it's a fraud. If that's in fact the case, it doesn't make sense.
That's right, it doesn't. The defense and the prosecution rest. What a difference a paycheck makes. There is one potentially amazing scenario that has the MAGA world all fired up right now, and that is if Trump refuses to leave Mar-a-Lago to surrender to authorities in New York or Georgia or one of the many places where he might wind up getting arrested, you know who would have to authorize the warrant? The governor of Florida, none other than Meatball Ron DeSantis, who obviously wants no part of this at all. And even Trump has indicated he would turn himself in if he gets indicted. That hasn't stopped Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz from sticking his little brown nose into the old Orange Julius.
If I were governor of Florida, I would not allow any Floridian to be hauled before some Soros-backed prosecutor in some blue city over politics, and I wouldn't make an exception to not protect the President of the United States. Ron DeSantis should be standing in the breach to stop any sort of extradition of President Trump from the state of Florida, and the fact that he's not doing so puts every Floridian at risk who could be the subject of a false allegation.
Like, oh, me, for instance, I don't know, spoken like a totally innocent Florida man. And by the way, these people screaming that Trump didn't do anything wrong, how do they know he didn't do anything? They haven't seen the evidence. We don't know any of the details of what the lawyers told the grand jury. For all we know, Donald Trump kidnapped Baby Yoda, okay? A lot of people are also wondering why the Tandalorian is being indicted in New York for a crime related to a sexual encounter in Lake Tahoe, and that's because in the criminal justice system, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. In New York City, the dedicated detectives who investigate these vicious felonies are members of an elite squad known as the Special Victims Unit. These are their stories. I hope that clears it up for everyone. You got it, Guillermo, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
Which little bit of it did you get?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, yeah. I think this is real. Ice-T is filming an episode of Law & Order SVU next to the Manhattan courthouse that is deciding Donald Trump's fate. I have to believe that somewhere up there, Detective Munch is looking down and laughing very hard at all this. The Manhattan DA probe is just one of the many investigations into Trump. The D.C. Court of Appeals today upheld the ruling of a federal judge who found that there's compelling evidence to suggest Trump deliberately misled his own attorneys about whether he had classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. Of course he misled his attorneys. This is what he's the Lied Piper. He's misled Zeppelin. This is what he does. So now one of Trump's own lawyers has been ordered to testify in front of the grand jury and to hand over handwritten notes and transcripts of audio recordings he made speaking to Trump. Donald Trump's the only person who gets his own lawyers in trouble with the law. And then we have probably the biggest case of all in Georgia, where Trump is now being represented by a squirrel named Drew Feinling.
Do you acknowledge that Donald Trump lost the Georgia election?
I am.
That's an easy one. Do you acknowledge that, attorney? Drew?
No, I'm focused. Let me tell you what I'm focused on. I'm focused on being a criminal defense attorney.
Do you acknowledge?
But Ari,
do you acknowledge that he lost the
you can
state
talk
of Georgia?
to other political people. Why would we even talk about that?
I don't know. We want to watch you get fired on TV? I don't know. I don't know. This poor guy, I don't know what he's supposed to do. They have Trump on tape telling election officials in Georgia to find him 11,000 votes. It's on tape. That was in January of 2021, by the way, more than 2 years ago. And still, there have been no consequences for his actions. So far, the only real consequences Donald Trump has faced in his whole life are Eric and Don Jr. You know? There are so many conspiracy theories. The QAnon crew thinks when Trump gets arrested, we're finally going to have proof that he's JFK Jr. come back to life. Others believe Antifa will infiltrate the protest disguised as MAGA and make them look like criminals. But for me, the big lie that everyone, especially the mainstream media, seems so willing to overlook is happening right in front of our eyes in college basketball. Every year, we collectively pretend that Gonzaga University is a real place and not just a ruse cooked up to win NCAA games. I've been trying to get this out there, but the media, especially the local media up in Spokane, Washington, where the school allegedly exists, they just keep pushing back. The cloud-covered parts to reveal a remote mountain valley where the magical, fictional Gonzaga University is fabled to exist.
So silly, right? Does Gonzaga really exist? A long-running joke with Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, we know it does, right in the heart of downtown Spokane. The city has even offered to fly Kimmel from his LA studio to Spokane to prove that there is no fake school that just appears for the NCAA tournament. I think he needs to take us up on that offer.
Well, I will say, first of all, no one, to my knowledge, has ever offered to fly me to this imaginary place, ever. Nor have they offered to fly me to Narnia, to Wakanda, and or to Gonzaga. This is a fake place, and that is fake news, and this is fake news, too.
Gonzaga, of course, has some very famous alumni, including singer Bing Crosby, who we all know, and former Governor Christine Gregoire, and the first female Washington State Attorney General.
Right, right. Bing Crosby, Santa's friend. He's imaginary, too. And is dead, by the way. And former Governor Christine Gregoire. Do yourself a favor right now. Google former Governor Christine Gregoire. You know what comes up? Nothing. Nothing. It says page not found, okay? Anyway, Gonzaga tomorrow is playing our local team, UCLA, in the Sweet 16. So we're going to keep a very close eye on that and on them. And we will not let this story die. We really won't. We will beat it to death, is what we'll do. In Hollywood news, you know, there are some major motion pictures coming to theaters. John Wick Chapter 4 opens Friday. That's supposed to be great. Dungeons & Dragons comes out later this month. That's supposed to be really good. And there's a new biopic that many believe is already the front runner for Best Picture in 2024. I don't know if you heard about it, it's the previously untold story of a beloved American product, something we all know, we all love, and I'm pleased to now bring you the exclusive first look trailer for this soon-to-be blockbuster film.
Yes! Gentlemen, don't let the future of the automotive industry pass you by. We are standing at the crossroads of the future, my friends, and the future is bright. We have one shot at this. If we don't get this product to market before the competition, you'll all be eating Christmas dinner out of a dumpster. I want to see results. What are you looking at?
Happy anniversary, baby.
What do they do?
What do you mean, what do they do? They're nuts on a truck.
Yeah.
To own the live.